Meanwhile, his opponent is not too shabby either, as we are getting into our Terran versus Terran, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the blue Terran player from the land of Brazil, representing Alien Esports. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the other Brazilian Terran player, the red Terran representing Team Hellfire. It is firebat. Let's go. Oh, shouts out Light SKR in the chat. Gah, baby, gah. Good to see you. Good to see you. Very cool from yesterday, watching our ladder session. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And welcome to Amantes de StarCraft. For those that are just now tuning in, this is a monthly Brazilian tournament for the Brazilian StarCraft 2 scene, and we are currently in the upper bracket semifinals. Oh boy. Go. So far, double gas opener, double gas here out of INexorable. So INexorable is going for a faster factory, going for a more tech-heavy composition or tech-heavy start. Meanwhile, firebat's going for a single gas into something more economic instead. So already we do have a divergence here in our two Terrans. Firebat going for the faster command center, and INexorable going for the faster factory. So here we go. With this, INexorable is going to be the aggressor. Firebat is going to be the defender. So we do have a different dynamic facing off. Firebat moving up with the SCV Scouts. Now, SCV Scouts are a rarity in TvT. You often rely on your follow-up Reaper and Hellion aggression. This will allow Firebat to be a little bit more secure knowing what's going on. He will confirm the double gas. So he knows. He now knows that he has to be more defensive back at home, but he was already going to be just because of his opener. As INexorable, he does SCV Scout, but only checking for proxies. So he checks the third base location, just to confirm. I'll check the third. Likewise, that factory is on the way. CC on the low ground for firebats, and INexorable, he will be able to confirm that as well. Upon seeing the command center timing, he'll know that he is safe to be aggressive himself, assuming he moves out. For now, staying in the center. Does fan out towards the natural. The SCV is also dual purpose. It's here to help scouts, but also here to tank a Reaper shot. So it is the shield here for the Reaper of INexorable. Does move in. Does confirm the Marine. Does confirm the CC on the low ground. He's going for the Marine. And he will get it. Nice pickup. Trades an SCV for a Marine. He also confirms the faster expansion, which means INexorable now knows he is going to have the advantage when it comes to his Reaper and Hellion timing. Specifically the Hellion. So INexorable, he knows he can be more aggressive. He's going to be rallying across the map. Behind this, we have Firebat just now working on his own factory. INexorable already moving in. He will not be able to delay the CC, just barely not in time. But he will get an SCV kill. Nice pickup. Takes down a worker, rotates around once again. Does dive in. Again, he can out DPS out one Reaper, heads into the mineral line. SCVs are under fire. Firebat, he has to pull away. So far, does save some of his workers, but it's going to be another SCV kill. He wants the Reaper. Oh, sorry, he wants the SCV. Never mind. 3 SCV kills already. Pulls back to the low ground. A Hellion is in position. Another SCV going to be going down. 5 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. A brutal start. Firebat, he will clean this up, but the damage has been done, and INexorable, despite the fact that INexorable, he went for a later command center, he has an economic advantage. Likewise, he gets away with the Hellion. So our blue Terran player is in a better position. He is down when it comes to muling, true. I mean, there's one extra mule here for Firebat, but that doesn't make up for the 5 SCV deficit. So here, INexorable going for his 1-1-1. Going for his Cyclone, getting ready for some drop play. Medevac is on the way as well. And Firebat, he, for the most part, is stuck at home. Just now starting his own tank production. He fans out with his Hellions, but his Hellions, they won't be able to achieve much. Not against Cyclones. Okay, there's a world. So as INexorable moves out, he's vulnerable, right? He has that much less at home to defend. So Firebat, he can just dive into the mineral line. INexorable is out of position. Firebat's moving in. There's one Cyclone to defend. He's going for the Cyclone, going for the dive. The tank arrives just in time. Mash repair on the Cyclone. And INexorable, he holds. He holds, he shuts this down. He doesn't lose any SCVs. He saves the Cyclone. And now it's time to counterattack. There was definitely an opportunity there for firebat if he had gone straight for the mineral line instead, straight for SCV kills. But he tried to focus on the Cyclone, and as a result, he gets no damage. And INexorable, he's just all over firebat. Getting another 3 SCVs, denying any kind of mining in the main, came with the production. And firebat, he just cannot keep up. He will siege up his tank, protecting the ramp. Does zone INexorable further into the main. And here comes the rest of the army. INexorable, he just rallies across the map. He's going for the kill. And again, the entire game here, INexorable, he's just been in the driver's seat, just dictating the pace of the game. Just getting early game damage, early SCV kills, early snipes, and it leads into this. Leads into his move out. Bunker falls as 1 tank to defend. Oh, nice tank bullies. Tank is holding. Tank is holding on, drop back into the main base. And firebat, he will break this tank. He will break out. But once again, at a cost. He's barely holding on, he's barely treading water. Another 10 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. INexorable, calm down, baby, calm down. 10 SCVs, 2 more Marines. Now gets out. And back at home, INexorable, he is cruising here. He's able to get his 3rd TC now on location. Stim is on the way. Double eBays, double upgrades. Continuing his tank production. INexorable looking very comfortable here. After all that early game damage, there were definitely opportunities for firebats, and there's going to be no final fight. The writing is on the wall. GG gets called, and INexorable, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Very impressive play there by INexorable. And again, firebat, he had some moments, some opportunities when it came to his Hellion counterattack, for example, to get some kind of counter damage, but it was just a really, really rough position there for firebat when it came to trying to keep up with the movement of INexorable. Again, INexorable, early on, he was able to gain momentum, he was able to get some SCV kills, he was able to snipe the first Marine, and more importantly, because of the early scout from INexorable, he confirmed that he had the advantage. Like, he confirmed that he had momentum, that he could be aggressive and try to pull apart his opponents. And things got out of hand real fast and real quick. GG. GG, well played. With that, INexorable takes the lead, and now we are getting into game number 2. We'll see if firebat can bounce back, or if INexorable will close it out. Let's go. Let us go. As we are jumping into game number 2, game 2 is going to be on Amygdala. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Alien Esports. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the other Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Hellfire. It is firebat. Here we go. Of course, both these players were competing in the Brazilian SE2 circuit over the weekend. I say both. firebat was. INexorable, he was, of course, or he is seeded further into the next stage. As INexorable, he is one of the favorites in the Brazilian scene. And we'll see if firebat can more comfortably get into this game. Now, welcome one and all to Amygdala. Amygdala is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Very large map, long rush distance by ground, limited attack paths. It is easier on this map to be the defender. To defend, to be greedy, to be more economic. Despite that, once again, INexorable opening up double gas. So once again, double gas opening here. Once again, faster factory. Last game, this led into Reaper Hellion aggression early on, into a Cyclone drop. That was the overall build that INexorable had gone for into his 1-1-1. We'll see what he goes for this time. He has options. He can go Reactor Hellion instead. He can go early tank drop instead of Cyclones. He has options with how he wants to be aggressive here. Meanwhile, once again, firebat, single gas, which means a faster command center. I do like this opener from firebat, specifically on this map. It is easier to be defensive, it's larger, it's harder to be the aggressor, so there's a higher chance for him to get away with a more greedy build. Not saying he will, but there's just a higher chance. The map is going to be helping firebat coming into game 2. Anyway, INexorable, once again, he does scout the 3rd location. He's checking for proxies. Checks the 3rd, checks the low ground before moving out. Firebat, once again, with the SCV scout, he confirms double gas, so he knows that he will have the disadvantage when it comes to the army. And once again, firebat has to be the defender, and INexorable is the aggressor. Here comes the Reaper. Here comes that SCV. Once again, the role of this SCV is just a tank. Just a tank, just to circ shots. Firebat's going for the CC on the high ground. Okay, very safe setup. High ground CC, INexorable, he does confirm. And he still might delay the command center. SCV's under fire. SCV goes down, does delay. But this time, firebat, he doesn't lose the first Marine. He doesn't lose it. His CC is delayed by a couple of seconds. But this time, I would say a cleaner response here from firebat. As he's getting into his own factory. Likewise, there's Yad on top. Now, last game we had Cyclone. Yep, once again, Cyclone production out of INexorable. Into a Starport, into potentially another drop play. So far, this looks like the same build out of INexorable 2 games in a row. Likewise, also looks like the same build out of firebats, going Reactored Hellion. Oh, meanwhile, Hellion's on low ground to support. Marine is going to go down. Nice pickup. Marine goes down, and Reaper has to pull back. The boys have to be pulled. He has to pull the boys. As he doesn't, the Reaper is under fire. Okay, Hellion comes in. Reaper does fall. It was a late reaction. It was late to pull the boys, but firebat he does hold. Does hold on, does defend, does survive. He's trying to secure himself, this time going for a Viking. Interesting. Now with this Viking, he will have a way to shut down the initial medevac, true, to deny the drop. Speaking of, medevac is on the way, and here comes that Cyclone drop, also on the horizon. So again, it is the same build from both players 2 games in a row. Oh, firebat is getting called out though. The Cyclone will catch a Hellion. Takes out one of the Hellions. And again, you can just see how much power an early game Cyclone has. Just bullying those Hellions. Hellions, they cannot touch the Cyclone. 2 SCVs go down. And firebat, he's in trouble. Is in trouble here. He's going into Marauder production. Interesting. Interesting setup. Okay, he cancels. Cancels the Marauder. Going to a second ranks, working towards stim. Really early stim timing here from firebat. Interesting. Often what you would see here is not early stim. You'd see a tech lab on the factory into early tank production. Or Cyclones of his own. Reapers, they get into the main. At the same time, these Hellions, they're getting caught out. And Marauder gets picked up. Sorry, it wasn't cancelled, it was built. The Marauder goes down instantly. And this is disastrous here already. INexorable has controlled the low ground. Hellions, they can't quite engage, not on their own. Does force a lift. Cyclone's big of another 2 Hellions before pulling away. And back at home, INexorable, he's just freely saturating on 2 bases. Again, because of all this damage, because of all these delays, INexorable, he's already up over 10 workers. And he's getting his 3rd base on location. Just a very strong start once again for INexorable. Again, firebat just having a very hard time being the defender. This is the downside of going for Reactored Hellion. Reactored Hellion, this is great for harassing and for counterattacking, not so much for defending. Like you saw just how they tickle the Cyclones, how they tickle the initial units. Likewise, delayed tank production because of the faster stim. I'll be honest, I'm not too fond of this. This is like a kind of a weird stim timing here for firebat. Stim is going to finish really early on, that's true, but what are we accomplishing with that? Look at the units tab here. There are 2 Marauders. There like that's all the bio. There's only 2 Marauders. Bio production is delayed. So on the one hand, sure, we have early stim, but because it isn't really doing anything, this is where earlier tank production, or I would say earlier tank, or even earlier cycle production would have been more beneficial here. There was no need to rush into this upgrade as quickly. Likewise, double medevac production is here, and okay, I do appreciate this at least. We're going for a Hellion drop. So Hellion drop is moving out. There is potential for some damage. Again, this needs to get some SCV kills. As firebat is behind. Scan into the main, reveals the production setup. No mech. Firebat moving in. INexorable, he will evacuate his 3rd. He respects this. Does evacuate. Instead, we can see here INexorable just securing himself on 2 bases. Hellion dropping to the main. Cyclones are keeping up. And Hellions, they will get a volley from the mineral line. Gets 2 SCVs. He gets 2, he gets 4. Does force a bit of friendly fire. A lot of the workers get low, but only 4 SCVs. This is damage, don't get me wrong, but ideally we did want a little bit more. As again, basically after the scan, he did recognize just how much production there was, anticipating a 2-base all-in. So INexorable playing it safe. Getting to his own tank production. Again, later stim here for INexorable, but this time, with its timing, I mean, he actually has a bio army to make use of. I believe Interference Matrix is now done, so he can disable with those Ravens. And firebat, he's committed. At this point, he's 2-base all-in. He's 2-base all-in. He's moving out with everything he has. Looking at the units tab here, firebat, he has 3 tanks to the 4 of his opponents. He's got the Viking advantage, true. He has a couple of Marauders, which can tank some shots. And INexorable is out of position. Right now, his army is here at the natural. Firebat, he could try to sneak up on the 3rd. Has more reinforcements on the way. Firebat moving in. The depot will buy time. INexorable, he responds. He does react. He does respond. Tanks not quite in position. Firebat getting behind the mineral line. And the 3rd base is evacuated. Firebat, though, he can't chase. He cannot chase. Has to pull back. Has to calm down. Calm down, Bobby, calm down. At the same time, INexorable getting into the main base here of his opponent. Triple drop into the main. Oh, and there's nothing at home. There's nothing back at home. Firebat going for the Doom drop. Tanks are in position. They're in the main. Oh, God. they're in the main. Auto shots get thrown down, and with that, INexorable, he will shut down the Doom drop. The tanks fall. The bio as well. And INexorable, he will clean this up. At the same time, 19 SCVs. The main base goes down. GG gets called. And INexorable will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. Hi, back. GG, well played. INexorable, again, both game 1 and game 2, just a really aggressive style. Just a really aggressive style here out of INexorable, with the initial Reaper aggression, with the Cyclone follow-up as well. We saw the same build from both players, 2 games in a row, and firebat did have a bit of a harder time specifically keeping up with the build of his opponents. Again, firebat, he was continuing to open up Reactored Hellion, which again didn't really help out too much. He got early stim, late tank production. Overall, his own build was kind of hurting him when it comes to his defensive play, and he was torn apart. GG, well played. A very impressive performance there by INexorable. But again, INexorable, he is one of the more favored players in the Brazilian scene, and I mean, again, is kind of the Terran in Brazil right now. I say the Terran in Brazil because yes, there is Kelliser, there is Diego, of course, but he's not in Brazil. He's in Europe. So he's not often playing in these Brazilian tournaments. Instead, that's where INexorable steps up.